Greetings, kindred. Tonight, we will tell a vampire story, full of political intrigue and conspiracy. In these modern nights, the District of Columbia has become home to yet another civil war. With the Camarilla kicked out of the district, this has led to two major movements fighting for dominance over the city. The Sword of Cain is all too prominent these nights. Under the iron fist of Archbishop Sasha Vukos, it has been a golden age for those identifying as anti-tribute. The Anarch movement on the other end continues to splinter further and further by the night. With Marcus Vittel declaring himself the Anarch Prince of DC, the ire of the dissenters has increased tenfold every single night. Among the dissenters, the faction led by the neonate known only as Velvet continues to gain steam. With this in mind, in an attempt to unify the city, the young neonate puts together a coterie of young upstarters to help wrestle the city away from the crawling grasp of those who would do it ill. I look at the world from awakening eyes and a black face, and this is what I see. This fenced-off narrow space assigned to me, Langston Hughes. Now, before I start, how do you all look, and what vehicle or transportation are you taking for this night? We will start left to right, top to bottom, in the order that you will appear on the stream. That would be Persephone.
My name is Persephone. I'm about 5 feet 9 inches. Dark hair, dark eyes, and dark skin. I'm currently driving my SUV Tesla. And I don't know. I have curly hair.
Next, our Toreador.
My name is Ajax. I would be driving a rental car, Audi 300. He is about 6'2", 6'3", around 275 to 300 pounds. Short hair, 5 o'clock shadow. Wearing extremely over casual wear that you could pull out of the late 80s. Suspenders, khaki pants, loafers. Yeah.
Next, our Flesh Crafter.
All right. Hi, I'm Cyran. Let's see. I'm pulling up. I don't know. What's my Uber driver driving?
Your Uber driver is a rather young man, clearly out of it. Clearly a sad and begotten AU student that needs to make some payments on the side.
Yeah, all right. I ride in silence.
Next hour. Don't
I need to? Yeah, the so I'm showing up in practical casual, which is a hoodie, not a graphic t-shirt, but a print t-shirt, jeans, and not like the fashionable sneakers. These are work shoes. I need the anti-slip for the tile in the morgue.
Really putting your Uber driver continues to go along, goes to the location, he kind of gives you a side eye, but just insists must be from California. Nevertheless, we move on to our Thinblood. What are you wearing and what vehicle are you coming in?
Well, she doesn't drive, so she'll be taking the Shoelace Express. she'll probably be walking a giant white fluffy dog by her side. And she's wearing like lots of layers, like too many layers for anyone to be comfortable. And she kind of looks like her skin is hollowed out, and trying to mask a smell as well. So
unfortunately for you, you are past the Mason-Dixon line. It's DC after all. You must be hot, sweaty in it, but nevertheless, given your position in life, you should be fine, of course. Last, but certainly not least, our venture. Tell us, are you wearing tonight?
Viola is dressed in business casual. She's in the back seat of a BMW while her paralegal and personal assistant is driving in the front seat. Yeah, she's going through her phone, checking up updates, checking up on any cases that have been closed, doing like online filing, making sure that her day is ended.
So with that being said, you all are making your way to the Howard Theater tonight. It is loud and bustling as it typically is on most nights. As you all come on your own accord with your own vehicles of transportation or none, which is perfectly valid, you glance down towards the letter with delicate cursive and sleight of hand that could only be identified as Velvet's writing. Some of you are familiar with it, others perhaps not so. Either way, when this young neonate called for your attention, it meant business. As you step out of your vehicles or make your way to the doorway, you see this seemingly aged and gray woman with dark blue eyes and tangled, messy hair that seems this silver color. And this typical bruiser's outfit, oddly enough, for what her perceived age is. She promptly holds up her hand towards you as if to say, stop. Some of you may know her, or at least know of her. To check, how about you give me a wits politics roll? Difficulty 2.
wits and sorry?
Wits politics roll. Difficulty 2.
Politics roll. Two successes.
Right on the dot. Anyone else?
3.
3. Oh, okay. 2. Everyone's getting it tonight. We're looking good so far.
Oh.
We're looking good so far. I like this. So, all of
Sorry.
you.
3 successes.
Great. So, all of you have a vague recollection of this woman. Some of you may even know her personally, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you. However, you know her as the Reeve, the enforcer of these parts, if you will. Her name is Kaylee. You know that she is a gangrel with a short temper and an unknowingly just fierce anger. Now, if any one of you were to see into her aura, look into her eyes, perhaps you could see what might look as black veins surrounding her. However, you all know that she was someone that you shouldn't necessarily mess with. The scars crossing her face made it rather clear what she did to those that had failed to fight her off. Maybe she helped you and kept you safe at some moments in time. She certainly kept the head of the movement safe, and that's all that matters in the end. However, if you weren't on her good side, you knew you weren't on her good side. Either way, as she approaches, she holds up her hand. Who are you? What are you doing here? She looks at you quizzically, almost as if you're wasting her time, to be honest. What do you?
I was
Lyra will
invited.
take a step back and like kind of hold her dog's leash a little tighter.
I say, who am I? You invited me here. If you don't know who I am, then maybe you've called the wrong person.
Me?
Appointment only.
Excuse me? I called you here?
Yeah.
No. I can't afford hookers from DuPont. I'm sorry. Maybe you have the wrong place.
That's cute. I got your letter. You needed my help?
I didn't ask for your help, sweetheart. Maybe you're looking for something else. You
I'm
don't
sorry.
really.
Do I look like someone else to you? It's Persephone, sweetie. You called me here. You sent me a letter, and I don't want to waste my time. So
Were you like an AU student? I don't know you.
okay. I don't know how you got around DC without finding out who I am, but again, I got your letter, so instead of wasting time, can we just get along with what you need from me?
I didn't send out the fucking letter. As this continues on, you can kind of get the general gist that Kaylee isn't in a good mood, but to be quite honest with you, she's never in a good mood. Yet as this back and forth continues, you promptly hear the slam of the door just promptly swing open. You see this dark-skinned male with piercings and coily, close-cut hair approaching you all. He seemed green to most of you. He certainly was the youngest here among all of you, even for a neonate. His eyes seem to pierce through all of you. Almost this despondent glower that seemed to permanently emanate off him and strike you just fiercely, causing a sudden stop in the conversation, even causing Kaylee herself to stop. To those of you in the know, this is one of Montano's descendants. They tended to be numerous and existed likely within the tens of hundreds at this point. However, what mattered was that this was your sweeper, and currently he stood as the sole ambassador to the Sabbat from the movement. Either way, as he walks up towards you all, his gruff voice emanates out. Kaylee. Even though it was just one word, he wasn't using dominate, yet it was something about his voice that mystically forced kind and kindred alike to just listen to him. Perhaps that's why he got this position to begin with. You know, these people are the guests that Velvet summoned here tonight. Stop being an ass and let him in. At that moment, the woman guffawed in utter disbelief. Wait, this is them? This is them. You mean some flesh-crafted freak, a goddamn blue blood, some prissy rose, a reject Ventrue, and a fucking Thinblood? Are you fucking kidding?
Well, at least the
You know-
gatekeeper has an idea of what monarchy looks like.
My gran always told me if you didn't have anything nice, you shouldn't say it. You can
Yeah.
always make sure you can't say it if you'd like.
Yeah. I don't talk to you people from the fucking old Soviet bloc. Okay?
Aren't there
Just shut the
leash
fuck up.
laws in the inner city? Last
Just
time
as-
I checked.
Just as Kaylee is about to just boil out in anger, you hear this man say, "Enough." There was force behind his voice. It was enough to sedate her and temper this aging gangrel. Calling her a dog wasn't the best idea, but when your sweeper said that's enough, you knew it was enough. She huffed and moved out of the way, opening the door for you all to enter, muttering something about This is supposed to be Chocolate City, and all of you are whiter than my ass, but you ignore that and keep on moving forward. As you make your way through the theater, you all see the light pale barrage of colorful lights, spires lining along the walls, and of course, the balconies that held dozens upon dozens of kind and kindred alike. It almost was Carthage, just the way that just art seemed to proliferate, how people interacted so seamlessly. It was almost as if there were no barrier or hierarchy present, probably to the behest of some of you. It seemed as though another rant has just concluded. And with that, the floors were congested with hordes of people, some of which you recognized, others you didn't. But that didn't matter. As James pushes his way through all the people to get to the second floor of the theater, you notice the rather ornate yet worn and old double doors of the office before you. As you approach the bronze engravings seen on the doors, the barriers open only to reveal a layout that solely came out of a Black Panther's dream. The old pictures from almost a lifetime past remained up in the room. Memorabilia of those that have fallen to Vitel's and Vuko's blades decorated the room. It was, as you can recall, at least a shrine dedicated to their honor and memory. As you all step forward, a woman with locks of brunette curls cascading down her back and shoulders, tawny skin, and a rose-like blush ascending her lips and cheeks steps before you all. A glimmer of familiarity reaches her gaze, and while she is young, by far the youngest Baron you have seen and met, the last few decades have put age on her. Perhaps she was overwhelmed, maybe, but she'd never tell the likes of any of you that, of course, that just wasn't your privilege. Nevertheless, she smiled and welcomed you all into her quarters. You all made it. Thank you, truly. As she punctuates the last few words, that there was this sincerity, yet this air of polish that almost made her seem like a high clan in spite of her being a known brewpot. It just naturally followed her around. If you haven't known any better, you probably would have said maybe she was a Toreador, maybe some other exotic bloodline. She held herself in such a formal manner that you would have thought she was anyone else but your Baron. For the moment, her eyes locked with James. She nodded, signaling him to leave, only for him to nod the affirmative and exit the very doors you came from. I'll be frank. I called you all here tonight for a reason. Perhaps some of you weren't around long enough to remember the first or the second civil war within the city. Perhaps you are old enough to remember the Camarilla within the city. Or perhaps you are only young enough to remember the Sabbat as a staple within your every night's unlives. Point is, you are the only kindred in this city I am putting a modicum of trust into right now.
I don't think I belong here.
Well, I might be inclined to maybe agree with this one. Trust is not something really freely given around here. Are you sure that's something you want to be thrown around?
I'm not throwing my trust to merely anyone. You all have a certain set of skills. Maybe some of you are intelligent, witty, politically apt, socially apt, scientifically ahead of the game. I could give this to any other kindred that you saw out there tonight, but I'm handing it to you. It's for this one reason. You know what those streets look like out there, don't you? Be honest, or don't. Lyra, I know you're quite young to this. However, I'll be quite frank with you. This city is a shithole. Perhaps
Absolutely.
some of you live in the
Notice.
more hoity-toity, nicer parts to escape it briefly. However, we have a problem on our hands. We've been fractured for decades now, and you all know this. However, our problem remains with the likes of our beloved Prince of Anarchs. You all know him, correct? She looks around, trying to gauge the room.
Sure.
Hard not to.
Who hasn't?
Very well. If you do not know, for those of you who somehow don't, Vittel has claimed himself to be Prince of the Anarchs. He was at one time the Prince of the Camarilla. However, due to a long list of complications, it was figured out that he was, in fact, a Sabbat infiltrator the entire time. Now, in spite of whatever allegiances you may have previously had, I, quite frankly, couldn't really give a damn or care. With that being said, he said that he sent his ambassador into our domain a few nights ago, and that ambassador never made it to our Elysium. They say that he has died a tragic death, that he doesn't even know what happened to him, that he loved this man as if it were his own child. Point is, I want you to try and find who killed this magister, okay? It's going to become a problem, and he says that since one of his own has died, one of us has to pay for it. I'm sure you know what that means.
Fine.
You're looking at me, and you guys seem to have questions. Ask away.
This couldn't have been an email or anything like that. You know how I work.
I didn't know that you suddenly produced a French accent. You keep saying we, as in it's our problem. So the first question I have for you is, what do we end up getting out of this in return? Because obviously all of us have business to take care of nightly. And it's not a we situation until we get pulled in. And the last time I checked, the majority of we are not in the ivory tower anymore. So please, elaborate.
Finally, someone who's getting to the really important questions.
Yeah, if I wanted to play detective, I would have gone down that road, sweetie. I don't do this, at least not without being paid, so.
And I have a paralegal for that, so.
I'm sure Volderi sounds very pleasant to all of you, or meeting your death again. However, I'm not going to try and threaten you with any, big, grandiose gestures of, destiny or the like. The movement is falling away at the hinges. We are making caucuses now. We are trying to make things work more efficiently, if you will. I can promise you have at least some sway. Should you take this up, and whenever voting comes around, you will have some sway when we are trying to make an action plan to get rid of, the Sabbat and those bootleg Camarilla that call themselves Vittel's own gaggle of Canaanites. However, that aside, perhaps I can offer you some domain, maybe. That's what all you kindred like now, right? A piece of land. I know the prices in DC are skyrocketing now, right? I know you have your little luxury apartments in DuPont Circle, but, for some of you, maybe a nicer place to stay and maybe having the comfort of knowing that you won't be hunted down come the next day by some Thinblood IED might make things a bit sweeter for you, no?
I don't mind where I'm sleeping, but wouldn't say no to actually controlling territory.
Wouldn't say no to protection either.
Oh, it's easy. You sleep in the freezer. They never look there.
Oh, can't believe I didn't think of that.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you just
Kinda
put a little
looking forward
tag
to a
on when you
penthouse.
go in. No
Hmm.
questions.
Hmm.
I have many questions, but I'm going to leave that aside for now. So basically, what you're telling me is for all of us to do this for you, you're offering us lands that we control and some kind of political standing in this group that you've put together.
Well, you're a part of it, aren't you? You're not with Vukos. You're not with Vitel.
No,
What
but
are
as
you,
you said,
talkers?
we are fractured. So how can I make sure that none of these people are going to get in my way or that we're not going to cross each other's domain? How can I trust any of these to do what you want for me?
You want my cell phone number, darling?
You can give it to my assistant.
Wonderful. My paralegal send it to yours.
You have trouble
Now,
working the
Viola, we don't have
keys.
to get feisty.
Yes, Ajax. Whatever you say.
All you high clans are the same. Nevertheless,
Shit, are we all except the Thinblood? Damn.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't know what I can offer to this group. I haven't even been in a fist fight ever. This is, and
It's all
like,
right.
why do I need protection? I just live my life as closely to a person as I can still.
So the problem is why you would want it. Sure, you're not important to the rest of us, but as your, I guess, the closest thing to a resident Nodist scholar, you're basically a harbinger of the apocalypse, and people will probably try to kill you about it.
also, to not put it in such blunt terms as our Tzimisce has, those of your ilk within the city have a reputation. A lot of the Thinbloods within the city, with the exception of a few, not all Thinbloods, but a good majority of them have sided with the Sabbat. Maybe you know his name. He's damn, what's that Thinblood's name? She taps her fingers along her desk. A few minutes pass. Of course, before she promptly says, David Mercer. He's the head of the Thinbloods within the city. You might have heard of him. You know, he leads the group of Thinbloods that roleplay as IEDs every 5 days.
Well, yeah, he's kind of the only one that's ever been any sort of friendly to me. I mean, you guys are saying I'm the harbinger of the fucking apocalypse, so like,
Not everyone is as, what's the word, strictly religious as some company we have here are. However, your friendship aside,
Look, I'm lapsed.
or your past allegiances aside, you all need protection. We all need protection. And the only way to trust someone is to trust them. So, I'm putting my trust into all of you. And should you fail me, well, if they don't get you first, I'm sure you know how descendants of Tyler may act when they get a bit too riled up.
Oh, we're not gonna throw down with petty threats now, are we? I thought everybody was on the same side here.
No, not petty threats, just a gentle reminder, if you will.
Gentle. I'll remember that.
As you say this, a prompt knock comes at the door. She sighs, runs a hand through her hair. This just says briefly, come in. towards the unknown person. Yet, as soon as the words spilled out from her mouth, James opens the door only to reveal a small Indian woman dressed in a traditional pastel purple sari embroidered with white gold and pearls. She stepped forward into the room. She walked with a certain amount of grace that, in spite of her short stature, she had this air about her that simply followed. In spite of not being Highland, she held herself with the poise of being such. Thank you for coming here, Seema. Everyone, this is Seema. As you might know, this is rather serious. Now, before we go forward, may all of you please make a wits or intelligence plus politics roll at a difficulty of 3, please.
Nothing into politics for this political game.
One.
One success. One success. Anyone else? 2 successes. 2. Oh no, 2 successes. No
I got a
one
twofer.
knows. No one knows. Since we are on the Blank Slate channel, I would like to ask, would anyone like to win at a cost?
Nah.
No? Okay.
Nah.
Had to test the waters. Had to do it. Nevertheless, as this woman walks past you all, almost as if you simply didn't even exist, none of you can quite really pinpoint who this is. She seems vaguely familiar. You can kind of maybe recall who she is, yet you still can't at the end of the day. She's just this vague entity before you all. It's almost as if she's no better than some mannequin that you see in the store window. How she held herself, she might as well have been one, right? Nevertheless, as she looks around before looking back towards Velvet, she shrugs almost without care. It must be quite important. You only tend to call upon me when something is needed from me. The Hindi accent that she carried with her encompassed the entire room. This was a Brahmin. She glanced towards all of you, analyzing you all in her own right, seemingly as if she was looking into your souls, as if to figure out if you were of any worth. So this is the coterie meant to reign in control of the city. She glanced back over towards Velvet, almost rhetorically. Yet she still had this judging undertone with her. All Velvet could manage to utter out in return was, "We'll see." It seemed half-hearted at best, but you're not going to say anything. You all have good manners, right? We'll say so. We'll say so for theory. I didn't ask you here to look into my choices. I asked you here to use your gift. She hissed this out in an authoritative tone, putting her gloved hands on the wooden desk before her, almost as if she was trying to keep herself from becoming unhinged. In response to that, however, the Brahmin merely put up her hand and waved her off as if she was entirely unaffected by her threats. Very well, Zote. There's no need to turn to anger. My insight is a gift, not a favor to take for granted. It would do you well to remember that. As she said this, Seema began to circle around all of you, peering through all of you as she continued to flick her left ring finger against her thumb. The tick seemed almost to be assisting her in an odd way, as her golden brown eyes turned into this bright and artificial lavender hue. Yet she continued this soft hum as she circled around you, almost as like she were a child entranced by something. Yet as she continued to flick her thumb against her ring finger, the golden chocolate brown caramel skin that she had, the skin began to split. It was almost as if she were purposely pricking herself in order to bleed herself. She suddenly paused as if frozen in motion in front of all of you, just in shock. Yet she was almost looking past you all. She was utterly still in time, just frozen for a few minutes on end, with her mouth slightly ajar as she craned her head towards all of you, almost as if she were trying to figure out who she saw. The peacefinders, how frightful in the wake of their lineage and spite-made ills. They lurk among flesh crafters, continuing to grow more and more. The blue blood turned king has already woven his own. The aged fangs of those forever broken seek to rewind the clock, but someone stands waiting to devour the king forever blue blood. Her voice simpers down, almost breaking down into this whimper. Yet she gasped in fear. Her eyes looked around frantically between all of you. It was as if she's trying to figure out what she saw, more adequately, who she saw. She brought her hands back up towards her, almost as if trying to comfort herself from what she saw. It's almost as if she felt it. She closed her eyes once more, with them returning to their natural honey brown hue when she opened them again. She managed to compose herself, but unlike how this dignified woman usually held herself, she seemed subtly startled before muttering something out under her breath that those of you with heightened senses might have picked up as rotten diabolist. From the back of the room, Velvet looks just confused. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Any one of you, do you want to try and decipher that?
I didn't even hear what she said.
And this is the group.
Look, I had bat ears once, but I got told to put them back.
She looks at you a bit in disgust before pulling back. Noted. Of course you won't be able to decipher it. You're all so plain and basic. Nevertheless, I'll say this. You'll see Azura Terzaya met it tonight, many in form. Tread carefully, kindred. There are many, and few will actually hear you out without something to offer them in return. Now, for those of you in the know, give me an occult and intelligence roll with a difficulty of 3.
That's for any of us?
Any of you guys. You want to do it? Go ahead. You'll have some context before this Ravnos feels a bit too. Oh no. Oh wow. Okay. So, Viola, Cyran, you know specifically the word that she used. Maybe it's because you've been around Ravnos before, or perhaps you're just so in the know of stuff of the occult nature, specifically around kindred. She mentioned great evil within her words. She mentioned the death of maybe some sort of phony, someone that is hiding their true intentions. Yet you know that she's saying that what you're going to face, they're not necessarily normal, or hell, they're not even human, probably not even kindred at that. When she said tread carefully, she meant it. You will go to the church where the Dark Father reigns. His visage is illuminating, but his body is all too dim and fading. Now, I'll ask again. Give me a wits and streetwise, or a cult roll, with a difficulty of 3.
Streetwise, I can do.
It's wits plus streetwise, or wits or occult.
I am.
3. You guys
Oh,
are
occult.
doing 3. Okay.
5.
5. 3. 5. Okay. Everyone's doing great. Oh no. Damn it.
So witty.
So, with that being said, you guys can generally point out what she's saying this time. This time, it's not all vague and all shadows and mirrors and stuff like that. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We have a Lasombra here. Nevertheless, you guys can pinpoint these 2 locations in your head. St. John Paul II's shrine, which you both knew was under Alicina de Angelis, who was a Lasombra, who was the head priestess of the Church of Cain. With that being said, she was also in the Sabbat. And she found those that weren't part of the Sabbat to be utter scum beneath her shoes. Or you also knew of the Basilica of the National Shrine, which was also a previous Church of Cain residency, yet during the past few years had fell into Damiano Giovanni's hands, which you knew him as the head of the Hecata within the city. Do you have any questions for me before I depart? This is your
Yeah,
time
should
to
we be
ask them.
going to ask the Lasombra or the corpse fucker?
Excuse me?
Well, the directions you gave us are going to take us to one of 2 places. Do we go to talk to the Lasombra, or do we go to talk to the Giovanni?
I only see the possibilities. What your outcome is, yet alone if it leads to your death, that's up to you.
Isn't that convenient?
Mm.
It always is.
I'm Autocracy. I have no hand or skin in this. What you choose to do in your own time is your own. Anything else? You'll find your answers either way.
Well, all right. Team, I guess. Do we want to go talk to, do we want to go talk to Spooky Sabbat Lady? Or do we want to go talk to,
I believe you
guess-
called it corpse fucker.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some other fun term, but I think corpse fucker really does
I
it.
appreciate that.
The
Reminder
effort's
for
noted.
those of you in the know, when you cross into any Hecata territory, it doesn't really matter what sect or clan you are technically safe, as that is neutral territory, technically.
Yes, and I'm not sure talking to Spooky Sabbat Lady will go as well as you think it might.
Oh, no, it
So-
won't.
No, it will not. My vote would to go to the what do we call them again? The corpse fucker?
Well, they prefer Hecata, I think.
You probably
Mm.
shouldn't call them corpse fucker to their face.
Well, I
Yeah,
would
they
never
hate
say it
that.
to their face.
They
That doesn't
really
mean
hate
I
that.
don't have to think it. Sure.
Hey, everybody has a kink. We don't kink
Mm.
shame here.
We can't concern.
From the back, as you say that, it's just like, yeah, you might be making fun of their dead niece or something.
Hmm.
It's all in the family, after all.
All
Anyways,
I'm
I'm for
saying-
a corpse fucker as well.
Mm.
I mean, Hecata.
Hecata is just so much more boring of a term. I think they should flip it around, but whatever.
Manners and all that.
I guess.
I really don't want any trouble, so this Hikata seems like the right path to me. If it matters.
The Ravno shrugged, saying, "Trouble will always find you." And before walking out, clearly not that interested or really even concerned about what was going to happen next. She didn't necessarily care, to be honest with you. However, Velvet remained, and so did James. However, James looked towards all of you, almost as if to say, "These poor bastards," but didn't really say anything else, as if to try and remain polite. "Come on, let's go. I don't have all day. Let's go." He motions for you to follow him. He's escorting you all out of Velvet's office. So, we're all going into Hikata territory. How's that?
Oh, that's all right. I've got some friends and associates.
Friends in low places.
Well, low is in like 6 feet under, sure.
Mm,
At least it's not where the beer chases and the whiskey, whatever it is.
mm.
Ugh.
I wouldn't want to be a part of that shit. Listen, I came from New York. I've seen them a few times. Good luck. As he says this to you, he walks you over to his car. It's a black SUV. You know, he is very much into looking as sleek and as stylish as possible, yet it's clear he doesn't care that much. One of you must have experience with, those people. I hear that they can almost smell the humanity on you guys. Is that true?
You really presume a lot about us.
I haven't been called human in a long time.
Listen, Chuckles, I wasn't talking to you.
I left my humanity back in the 80s. I haven't seen it since.
Oh, I
If
miss
they're
the
talking
80s so
about-
much.
I've been told
Mm.
people can smell a lot more than humanity on me.
Mm,
Mm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be temporary, but if you want me to close up a couple of those sores, give me like 15 minutes.
I don't want any backroom surgery in my nice car. You're going to have to do that somewhere
We
else.
could take our car. You don't have to come with us.
I'm driving you. You guys might go.
All right, fine.
You
Fine.
guys,
I will not.
If you insist.
I
I
do.
will not perform cosmetic surgery in the back of your car.
Is
Yeah,
there
please
room for
don't.
Levi? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry to
just-
interrupt. I have a dog and I can't leave him here.
He looks so cute. He tries to go and pet him, but he realizes that animal ken is not one of his specialties, and he flinches as he hears the low growl that comes from the dog.
Ugh, that thing is yours. It's sitting on your lap. This
His
is a
name's
Brooks
Levi.
Brothers suit. Thank you very much. This dog is not coming anywhere near me.
He's
All right.
friendly, just saying.
Get in the
Ajax
car.
would open up a car door and be a gentleman and escort Viola in and say, "Let's try to be nice. I know how you get when you're peckish."
Really pushing it. Really testing me.
Oh, do we need to stop for some of you to get a snack?
Don't tell me you people didn't feed before coming here, I swear.
I never leave my place on an empty stomach, so I'm
Again.
fine.
We can take our own vehicle. You don't have to tag along.
No,
It's true.
I'm your designated.
You're really making
I'm your
a lot of
designated.
this.
I'm your designated babysitter for tonight. So get in the damn car, okay?
Wonderful. Sure.
All right, fine.
All right.
Oh,
As you all pile in, he
aye,
starts
aye,
up the
Priscus.
car, begins driving. So you're going to a church where there were a bunch of Canaanites at one point. What do you want me to tell you? They don't like Tories that don't paint their canvases with blood. They don't like Tzimisce that don't choose to renege on their ways. They don't like Prissy Ventrue,
Oh,
Some of
Prissy,
you
that's
guys-
a new one.
Some of you guys are tolerated. We know that you guys don't want anything touching your suit.
Just the dog.
Whatever. Try to cover it up, make it look nice. They don't
Probably
like
find you a lint
Lasombra that have chosen to follow along with the rest of the clan and not stay with their origins, and they don't like you Thinbloods that don't model as IEDs.
Oh, well then who do they like exactly?
themselves.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest
And even
with you.
then, it's kind of touchy.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I suppose.
This kind of seems like a fuck off assignment. You know?
Yeah.
I'm kind of catching on to that. This isn't really Ocean's 11. This is like the fucked up 5.
They gave us a Thinblood. I mean, really? You came to that conclusion now?
With a
Hey.
dog.
I didn't want to say anything in front of Velvet because I can tell somebody's turning a screw behind Velvet's words.
Hey,
It's seemingly coming from someplace higher.
listen.
If it helps, I didn't ask for this.
We know you
Neither
didn't
did
ask
we.
for this.
Listen.
I did.
listen. You're crazy.
I was a revenant. I was literally raised for it.
I don't know why they allow you
So many
bloodlines to
questions.
exist anyway. As he says this, he continues to drive. Nevertheless, I'll be quite honest with you. I won't talk shit about Thinbloods. I've seen them set themselves on fire. If you're going to do some self-immolation, that's the way to go out. I only seen that once in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, what a brag.
Listen, I'm not trying to change your mind. All I'm
Mhm.
saying is Lyra back here might be someone to look out for in the future. She's a bit eerie, a bit scary. Not in that prissy white Georgetown way, but scary all the same.
Oh yeah, the alchemy is nothing to fuck with.
No, absolutely. The Thinblood have their uses.
Sure.
I can
I'm sure.
try to
Lyra-
be useful to you folks.
Oh, you will.
But
I'm sure you'll try your best.
I don't want any trouble, really. I just
It's
wanna-
okay, child.
The protection
I wouldn't
seems
worry
nice.
about it.
I don't know.
Either way, I'll be honest with you. I meant to chaperone you guys, but Montano's blood isn't really like that much, you know. I mean, the model right over here, I think she knows what that's like. You didn't like me until a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Are we there yet?
I'm talking to you, Persephone. Come on.
Yeah,
Are
we're
we
I
getting
know.
there
yet?
yet. We're
I
getting
know
there
where
yet.
you people were before you flipped sides. Come on.
Oh
That's-
god, I miss Valdery.
Such an interesting turn of phrase, for sure.
Hey, no, we don't talk about that shit here, Flesh
Hmm.
Crafter.
What? We don't talk
I
about
don't-
not bickering and arguing?
That takes away your fucking will. That's not taking away arguing. That's fucking shooting someone in the head.
You know what
I
I miss
could do
about being
that.
human? Narcotics. Right now
Mhm.
would be really nice. Really, really nice.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
I'll tell you what, next time that somebody is in ODing, I can hook you up with the body.
please
Oh,
don't
that
do
makes two
that.
hookups now.
I have to
The
take
night
care
is still
of that.
young.
Mm.
He just sighs as he continues to drive along. After around 30 minutes, he parks alongside the church. Even though he was a chauffeur, for you guys at least tonight, he wasn't really kind enough to escort you outside. As he said, Montano's blood isn't liked, and he's not taking his chances with a fuck off assignment, as he so kindly coined it.
Ajax is perfectly fine with that. He's the first person to get out of the vehicle.
Okay. Cyran's headed out right after you.
Come
I'll
on,
step
Levi.
outside.
Let's go.
Dog goes first, though.
Come on, Levi. Let's go.
I make my way out of the car.
So when you all step out, you arrive at the church. You see this immaculate basilica come into the periphery of your eyesight. You notice how well lit yet simultaneously empty the area is. You can faintly hear the slight chime of the pipe organ fill the air, luring you into the building. As the car comes to as James looks between all of you, rolling down the window, he says, "Good luck with that shit. I haven't been to communion in 14 years."
Oh, well, you already told me not to talk about communion, so
You Tzimisce are fucked up. I don't even know why we tolerate you.
because I'm smart, I'm given to understand.
Mm,
Y'all scare me.
good.
Either, either way, this is the end of the line. Don't worry, I won't be charging gas this time. Knock on the door when you're done here. I'll drive you to the next destination. As he says
you're a
this,
saint.
that I am. I'm not even charging you for how many
She just
Newports I'm
walks
going to
away.
need.
Just no.
Thanks, Mom. I'm gonna head out if you don't mind. I follow after Viola.
Oh, and don't scream for help, he yells. I likely won't come in, just to be quite honest.
Wasn't planning on it,
Still
Tony Danza.
talking.
You can 86 out of here.
They say chivalry is dead.
It is with him.
Or I suppose undead in this situation.
No, it's final death is I think what it is.
Oh, that
I'm-
motherfucker's not on that path.
As you come,
Unfortunately.
you see these beautiful ivory spires and granite floors. You see a bunch of pews, of course, but this is ornate. You see gold encrusted like statues laying all around, and these beautiful mosaics just embodying the entirety of the church. It's well lit, it's beautiful. It would almost be beautiful if it weren't for the loud click-clacking of the well-crafted Ferragamo Oxfords that you see making their way towards you. As they continue to make their way towards you, you see this strong and tall figure of a man before you. The footfalls are modest, yet given the lack of noise within the church, aside from the music, that noise is the most overwhelming one in the room. You see him from the shadows as he glides his way into the room with a sort of je ne sais quoi that can only be exemplified by the term old money. He was full of himself, sure, but unlike newer kindred, he was seasoned and had felt himself to be of the upper echelon that even other wasps of his ilk couldn't live up to. As he stands within the center frame of the church, with his hands tucked into the pockets of his black Fendi overcoat, he smirks, and you can almost hear the crack in his lips as he looks towards all of you. So, what are a bunch of anarchs doing in my church? Am I going to have an answer, or am I going to have to shoot one of you?
We have
My,
questions.
Yes. It's really quite a surreal story on how we got here, but we have a few things we need to ask you, if you don't mind sparing your time.
Questions. I have a few of them as well. Usually, I'd have Victoria back there handle it. As he says that, you can see a neat girl with long black hair and bright blue eyes, like away from you from the background, smiling slightly, just. But he came to see me personally. What questions do you have? Come on. It's not like I'm going to kill one of you.
Yeah, probably not. Hey, so about this emissary of Vitel's that went missing.
What about them? Most of them go missing every 24 seconds.
Look, not disagreeing, but apparently he's real mad about this one. And is apparently bringing it real hard down on Velvet. So we would look, we got pointed this way by some Ravnos seer. Sounded a little Malky to me, but look, it was either here or going to go talk to my how would I put this? My childhood pastor. And I don't think she'd be happy to see me.
So many questions.
So one of the tells Lex goes missing, and you come to me about it? Oh, it seems like you want a favor from me.
It's possible we could come up with some kind of agreement for any information you might have.
I don't know about that. The real question is, and I ask this to all of my cousins, adorable little shits they are. What have you done for me lately?
I think the question to ask is, what can we do for you?
That's also a good one. So
I've been comparing notes with Alana, but I don't know if she's sharing.
you mean that bitch that keeps calling me Juto? That fucking cunt. Yeah, I heard of her. What the fuck about her?
Oh,
Why the
like I
fuck are
said,
you
I don't think
bringing her
she's
up here?
sharing.
Fucking
Well, 'cause you're-
sharing. What the fuck? That bitch is still here?
I don't know. I haven't been in touch in a couple weeks.
In a couple fucking weeks. This fucking... He tries to hold himself. The assistant behind him, only known as Victoria, seems a bit shaken, but she has seen him this way before and promptly tries to ease her way over towards him as if to try and calm him down.
As this conversation is going on, I'm not watching him. I'm keeping eyes on her.
What the fuck about her?
Oh, I don't, like I said, I didn't know if she was sharing. For all I knew, she was sharing the notes that I was sharing with her.
She's from that fucking Spanish line. You know?
What?
They come from fucking Mexico. I thought she crossed the fucking border again. I didn't know she was still fucking up here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we hang out all the time. Compare notes about dead stuff.
You know, usually that sounds like a good night out, but I didn't really find her all that cute. But whatever ruffles your jimmies, I guess.
Hey, if you want to swing by the morgue sometime.
I like to keep it in the family, but thanks for the offer. As
yeah, I bet you do.
Victoria here is familiar with it. Kajina, right? She like smiles kind of subtly. She seems a bit ditzy. She doesn't really care for this conversation or the fact that he's very flashy about it, if anything. I suppose so, is all she really says before looking back towards all of you. It almost seems like she's static, like a robot, if anything.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. In the interest of saving time, is there anything we can do to make this a more agreeable situation between the six of us?
Well, you know, it has been a long time. Yet, as he says this back and forth banter continues. You hear in comparison a rather controlled but imprecise footfalls of another figure making their way towards you from the right. As this figure closes in, you manage to see a rather lean, chocolate-skinned woman with a pearl-white gale and an overly embroidered Yoruba dress to match. As she came to a stop, she leans on one of the nearby pews observed in the room. For shame, cousin. And here I would have thought you were a man of some honor. Ah, Almasi Kojina! What are you doing here? Can a cousin drop by to say hi? After all, my invite to the family reunion was rescinded. Give me a wits and insight check. This could be any one of you. This could be all of you. Just Want to see what happens. 3. Okay. 4.
Mhm.
1, 2. Toreador, you don't care?
I got eyes on her, and I'd like to use Sense the Unseen.
Okay.
And I want to know what's
This
currently
place is
going on.
probably extremely fucking haunted.
Seriously.
So it happens like this. Ajax, as you look at her, she's Hikata, for sure. Definitely. You can see this a mile away.
4
Yet,
successes.
4 successes. Oh no. Yet, it's something odd about how she's holding herself. She's controlled, clearly, more so than the loud bastard that you were just talking to. But she has this disgust. For those of you with 3 and 4 successes, you might notice that she has this sort of air of disgust emanating around her. She glowers at you almost as if she doesn't necessarily know who you are, yet you're here in conjunction with this asshole. So she's not all that on your side, per se. Even though she said this, it slithered out almost like a snake with her tone. It didn't seem like she was offended that she wasn't invited. It was more so she was offended by him. For those of you with 1 to 2 successes on the other end, you managed to see that she's a bit irate. Maybe she didn't get her order from Starbucks or something like that. Maybe. But for the most part, you just kind of ignore it. You've seen this woman, or a similar woman like this on the street more than a dozen times in DC. However, Damiano merely shrugged in return. He didn't care that much for her spiteful attitude and didn't really give a shit about her, for that matter. It was lost in the man. The woman glanced over towards all of you, seemingly ignoring the intimidating presence that the Don gave off before waltzing over towards you all, now deciding to come into center frame, almost as if she were trying to outshine who he was and make herself the center of attention. How it so happens to be, I currently have access to the one person in the city who knows where your perpetrator lies. As it stands, she's currently waiting for me. She owes me. Just as you want these poor smucks to owe you, Damiano peeps this from the back, almost as if now that the attention isn't on him, he's angered, perturbed even. No, not everything with me comes with a fee, but you are well aware of that, aren't you? Nevertheless, I can show you exactly where she is, if you wish.
You're the only person who seems to be offering that freely.
It's good to make a good first impression, don't you think?
No, I completely agree.
I suppose. I mean, it would seem counterproductive not to consider your offer.
She smirks slightly before glancing back over towards Damiano. See? Because I attract more bees with honey, you rat bastard. It seemed like she was joking when she said this, but there was that slight undertone, which some of you could tell meant she couldn't give less than one shit about him. Nevertheless, she turns back towards all of you. She is right outside, waiting for me. You can have access to her, of course, if you promise me not to ash her.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm happy promising that.
Is it
Sure.
a deal?
Sure. It's a deal. I'm assuming my other colleagues don't have any objections to that.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. We're in the church, after all.
You were told.
It's
Find them.
okay with
They didn't
me.
say what
if
happened
that
afterwards.
matters.
Okay. Let's go. As she motions for you to follow her off to the side, you can see Damiano glaring daggers at this woman. He is pissed. Undeniably so, almost to a point where it's a bit comedic with the fact that Victoria is like so closely clinging to him, petting the side of his shoulder as if to say, it's okay, it's okay. Yet she doesn't say anything. She just remains quiet with this graceful look on her face as you all pass her by. Yet, as you walk behind the church, you see this petite Asian girl dressed in a long baggy t-shirt, leather jacket and fishnets. Her maroon dyed hair was flowing out past her shoulders, and her pouting lips morphed into a frown as she was clearly obsessed with whatever was going on with her phone. Oh shit! It's you! Ajax, hi!
What are you
Oh.
doing here?
I mean, listen, I owe this woman money. You know, I owed her a few favors, you know. I don't really like partying around the same people all the time. She seems somewhat cool, right?
I can't speak for that. I've barely been here 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, I know it's odd because we haven't seen each other in a bit, and things change and happen, but she's okay. She knows a guy. She
Knows a guy.
She winks at you. She winks at you as if to say, you already know. However, for the rest of you not in the know, give me a wits and streetwise. Difficulty 3. You, on the other end, you don't have to do it. 3 on the dot.
I see critical 4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't think too
successes.
hard.
4. Oh, no. So, all of you, to some extent, know who this is. She's not that famous per se, but she's known to be a bubbly, ditzy Asian girl within the Sabbat movement. You guys formally know her as Raina Young. She doesn't seem like one of those Asian kindred, those Kuei Jin, but the accent is so prominent and thick with her at times, almost slipping in between Beverly Hills Valley Girl and Straight Off the Boat. With that being said, she is someone that you have known to engage in Sabbat activity, but doesn't necessarily care. She is more so, I am on paper, but cares more so with the partying and drugs and blood. Not any of the let's kill more people for Cain or whatever. Not really her thing, if you were to ask. Lyra, dearest. You, on the other end, it's almost like you knew this woman like an open book. For some reason, you might have even known her, but at this point, you're actively clocking her. And she notices this and kind of eases back a bit, holding her phone closer to her. who's your friend? She looks kind of creepy. She's like staring at me and she looks, dead.
Let's
Uh,
hold off on
it's-
stereotypes until we can talk afterwards. Let's handle business first. You know how I
I
work.
assumed we were all dead.
Yeah, but like I might feel dead, but like I look alive,
Now, that's a personal choice.
That's one way to describe you, I suppose.
I mean, look at me.
The name's Lyra, actually.
Okay, you look kind of like a zombie. Is that like the look you're going for?
Well, it's a long story, but I was sick previous to being turned, I guess, and I
Okay.
just wound up like this.
She cringes slightly, not really knowing what to say. She seems to be a bit unnerved by you, even still. She feels like you don't really like her at that. Like the look that you're giving her, it's like not necessarily pissing her off, but it's scaring her.
I'm sorry if I startled you, miss. Not my intention.
Yeah.
This is Raina, for people
Yeah.
who don't know.
Hi.
I think I've seen you before somewhere.
I don't really need any more friends. I mean, I can give you $1 if you want. We'll leave you alone.
Raina,
What?
come now.
Fine. Okay.
Let's get down to business. And again, you and I are going to have a conversation later about this, but
Is it a usual conversation or a boring big people conversation?
it could be a
As far
foot in your
as-
ass conversation.
As
Real
far
quick.
as I'm
Those are my
concerned,
I mean, that's my
this
thing. What
I know it's your
conversation
thing.
has already gotten boring. So if we
Yes.
could get to business, please.
Let's figure out what you have to do with all this, because this doesn't seem like your forte.
What are you talking about?
So some shit has gone down, and I know you're not really here for the politics.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's like boring shit. I vote libertarian every time.
Oh dear Lord.
What are you doing here, Raina?
Well, Almasi, you can see Almasi's like staring off in the background. She doesn't necessarily care about whatever you need Raina for, but she's keeping a vague eye to make sure you don't kill her. Well, you see, I owe her something because like a few weeks ago, I hate to say it, but I lost control over my beast. I know it doesn't usually happen to me,
No.
I'm
It doesn't.
shocked.
It
Hmm.
really doesn't. I can
Mhm.
give you some workout tips if you want. I mean, that's how it keeps me in shape.
Raina, to the point, please.
Anyway, right? A few weeks ago, I was with my pack or something, I guess, right? Anyway, we were engaging in one of our what is it that you guys call traditions or whatever? Yeah, we were doing one of those.
One
Anyway,
of the retie.
yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah. Anyway, right? I got into some trouble down in like Columbia Heights and maybe might have like killed a few of her staff or something like that, I didn't know I did it. The beast told me to do it. But, when I came back to and like, I saw who I killed, they weren't wearing good makeup. I could tell they got wet and wild from the Walgreens. So, it was a favor in the end anyway. But either way, she was kind of pissed at me. And like it was near dawn and she like subdued me and brought me in and like, made sure I wasn't like, Ash or something like that. So, I kind of owe her.
Hmm,
That story was surreal.
I know, right?
truly. Mind blowing.
I mean, usually I
Honestly.
sniff markers, but
I was gonna say, did they put a little extra something in with the Valdery cup this time?
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, the markers make her think of home, sure.
exactly. You know too? Oh my god. I love the Sharpies.
Oh my god. I could care less.
Why are your friends so boring?
Oh, sweetheart.
Does this look like a club?
Sweetheart.
I don't know who
Oh.
you hang out with. I mean, you know,
Honestly, at this
who-
point, I almost wish I'm on whatever she's having, but
I mean,
Magic
who,
You could
like-
always. There's nothing stopping you from finding out. Look, I won't say anything.
okay.
I
Let's
like him. He's
Move on with
cool.
this conversation.
Yeah, what do you want? She goes back, checks her phone. She is still pretty out of it. Like she's like, what do you want? She doesn't really care. She still thinks this is all fun.
Did she
So, like,
realize I
who
was
is the guy you
telling
killed?
Persephone to eat her?
I mean, I have boys eat me all the time.
That's
Not that way.
that's a
Oh.
visual. I can't get out of my head now. Listen, we don't exactly have a lot of time. Clearly, you've gotten yourself into some trouble here. We need to
Mhm.
know exactly who those people are if you want to even really survive this encounter.
What do you mean, who people? What people?
Who did you kill, Raina?
Who's the guy?
What fucking guy?
The guy you killed.
The
Before you
one
got
with the wet and
hurt.
wild makeup from the Walgreens.
Oh yeah, like she said that she didn't care for them, so it doesn't matter. She said it like something like it was the point of doing it. Da 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 da. Right.
Can you be more specific? Were there specific wording to it? Was there anything she said or anything like that?
She said something like something like actions have consequences. She said like they were all her rules or something, and I don't know, she's with these cicada fuckers, so I guess it was maybe her cousin, maybe, I don't know. Whatever. Is that all you wanted?
I'd like to use manipulation and persuasion.
Okay.
And I'm going to step over to her and speak very softly into her ear and say, I know what you did to Chris Culpepper about a month and a half ago in my club.
Roll it,
So-
roll it, roll it.
I'm not finished yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to make you a deal. You tell us what you know about this person you killed, or I'm going to have you blackballed out of every site north of DuPont Circle. And if you have an issue with this, by all means, press me, but you know I can make you a star.
How many successes?
Maraca of death. 4.
She's like, all right, fine, okay, so listen. I heard some things through the grapevine, right? I'm not the one who killed your guy, but I'm related to the guy that killed your guy.
A little more specific.
Okay. So there is like this really fucking cool person. And she is like my idol, right? She said that like we'll go to like fucking Romania together, right? She is fucking amazing, right? Her name is like Zhaoji. And like I didn't meet her until I was like 16th birthday, right? And then like 19th birthday, boom, here I am looking pretty like this and also a bell, right? But she's like very strict and scary sometimes, but like she's like uber smart, intelligent. Now, for those of you that briefly heard the word soup she just said, roll me a wits politics roll again. Or a wit streetwise.
Maracas.
3.
3.
As a crit.
Oh, okay.
3 successes.
Okay.
Sorry, 3 and a crit as well.
So within the jumbled mess that was Raina's flurry of words, you heard the name Zhangji. Now, those of you in the Sabbat, you already had an advantage, and you can't help but slightly pale at what she just said. However, for those of you who were never in the Sabbat, this is even worse for you. You know the name that she just said as the fury of DC. Zhangji is a woman that few would actively seek out unless they had a death wish or were just actively stupid. The woman herself was of Asian descent, sure, and was known for being a historian that obsesses with, canine occult knowledge, who cares solely for knowing more about kindred cultures and the like. The woman is clearly a bit unhinged. She is someone that has been known to have been swayed to people's side for knowledge, of course. However, many people, especially those who were formerly in the Camarilla, know her as someone that collects disciplines like their Pokemon cards, essentially. She finds diablerie to be a game to her, but alongside that, from what you do know, especially you, Viola, you know her as someone who is seeking Golconda above all else.
That name carries weight.
God.
Miss Young, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see why, if you like me, you'd get along with her.
she's like really fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, we
fucking
used to be in the
cool.
same book club.
Oh my god, really? She keeps on telling me about like this one book I have to read, and it's so fucking boring. She says that I remind her of the girl from Lolita because I'm stupid, but I don't really, understand that.
I totally see it now.
You're not stupid. You're special, dear. You've always been special.
Oh,
Thank you.
Ah,
better.
Anyway,
all right.
yeah.
So, what? The Fury of DC laid out Vitel's emissary? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, I just go to sleep with a couple pills and, wake up and then party. But yeah, she does like go out and like kill people, I guess. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of her job. She's
I
also
mean-
on a certain, I guess you could call it religious cleanse as well, or religious path if you were.
Yeah, she told me about that. She said we're going to fucking Romania together. I heard everything super cheap there.
It's not that kind of trip, honey.
Oh.
Just giving you a heads up. But I will tell you this. I appreciate your help. And you and I will hook up later to have that conversation. However, if you're fucking with us, and I pray to God you're not, because I've seen you dance in a cage, honey. But if you're fucking with us, and points over to Cyran, I normally just get body bags off him. But I've seen him do some sick shit. So I can't even help you. I'm just trying to hook you up.
You ever wonder what it would be like if the Incredible Hulk could shape your face like clay?
I went to this plastic surgeon before I got turned, right?
That was a rhetorical question, honey.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I think to help yourself, you should hightail it out of here as fast as you can and hide in a hole at least for a fucking week.
Okay.
Because this isn't your kind of neighborhood.
Oh.
Yeah, if she finds
know what I'm
out that you
saying.
spilled on her, she's probably gonna eat you.
I mean,
You
she
know I'm
keeps
going to
on-
try to look out for you, but
Yeah.
you should probably leave.
I mean, she keeps on talking about the shit about like honor and like family and like weird shit like that. But it's like 2020, you know? It's like she keeps on going on with like this boring shit. And like, why the fuck would I care?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why don't you call an Uber?
Oh yeah. I have one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a good idea.
I used to sleep with the guy that drove for Lyft.
I'm
Fine.
shocked.
Either way, she goes ahead on her phone, starts like pressing away at buttons, but walks away from you. Generally, you know her, Ajax, as the type of person, if she's on her phone, she might as well walk into the middle of the street and get hit by a car. But for those of you that just met her, you kind of think she's a ding dong, really. Just a bit dumb, no thoughts, head empty. Yet, in spite of that, she still gave you rather useful information. Yet,
Yes.
still didn't give you a place, did she?
Mm-mm.
No.
Holy
Would you-
fuck,
would you-
Ajax.
she's
Who
she's
embraced her?
she's still she's still
Wasn't
in the
planning on a
area.
Rolodex out of this one. Just, you know.
She's still in
kind
the
of a Google
area if
search,
you want
that's
to
about
catch her
it.
before she gets into her Uber.
I don't know if I want her to stick around. That might be a little detrimental.
Yeah, but then how
be
will a
honest.
babysitter know where to drive us next if we don't know where we're
Oh,
going?
I'm not worried about the babysitter. We can find our own way.
True.
I just wanted to say that you guys handled that like really well. I don't know
Thank
how
you.
you did it.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of
Absolutely.
patience really is the trick.
I need to just hang back and let you guys handle this stuff. Really.
Oh, you probably shouldn't let me talk.
Hmm.
I got away with it there because I don't think she really noticed or cared that half of what I said was kind of threatening.
Cyran, obviously, we're not looking to step on toes here. This definitely isn't my scene. But I do think all of us should get the hell up out of here ASAP and figure out
Yeah.
a game plan without Tony Danza sweeping us up.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Just saying.
All right.
Let's go.
So, what are you guys doing next? You guys have a name, yet you don't necessarily have a direct place to go. And I assume you're abandoning your driver?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I
Oh,
have a
Honestly.
phone call to make.
I'd
We
like to
can-
keep him idling there the rest of the evening if possible.
Absolutely.
Now,
I'm gonna
Um,
call my driver.
okay.
That would probably be a smart move.
Yeah.
Guys, you want comfier seats? Do you also want in lounge? Forget I even asked. It's a rhetorical question. Hey, Steven? I'm
Yes,
sending you an
hello?
address.
Human names. So boring.
It's Steven. With a PH. Isn't that adorable?
Ugh. Sure.
Anyway, you wait a few moments, but then you see Steven show up in this really nice Maybach, very up to class, newest in its, class actually. Just came out this year, funny enough. Yet he rolls down the window, looks over at all to you before he gets out of the car. First, he opens up the door for Viola. Miss Cesario.
Thank you, Steven. Come on in, everyone.
I
They're all
climb
with me.
into the car.
Slide on in.
I'll keep Levi close to me. I'll clean up any hairs, Sorry.
Actually, Violet takes out like one of the things there. She takes a lint brush and just hands it to you like wordlessly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
One of those like sticky lint brushes,
Ma'am, where am I taking you and your entourage tonight?
Where are we going, folks? We can always head back.
I-
Or I'm not so keen to look up the Fury at this point in time.
I mean, I could probably get a fix on where she is through another member of book club, but
Oh.
Is there a direct address, or do we just have this just for because if you've noticed, everything in here is soundproof.
Mm.
oh, I was just I was gonna make a phone call and see what I could get.
How much longer do you think this is gonna take?
Oh, what, the investigation or?
Or this evening.
Yeah, like I just don't want my mom to get too worried,
Agreed.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
Is it past your bedtime?
I mean, I do have
Hell
school
forbid.
in the morning.
Oh, good lord.
You know,
you-
Wait, you go out in the daylight?
Yeah.
Thinblood.
Yeah, but it
You're
surprises me every time I hear it.
you're gonna ditch this mission because you have homework to do? Is that what I just?
I mean, it is the most important thing in my life currently.
no, I think the most important thing in your life, honey, is your life. And
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, the individual that we had to deal with before this holds territory over all of us.
College
Oh,
yeah.
student.
I think it's in our best interest, and I appreciate your situation, but we should probably handle this, and this is a little more important than your GPA or your mom's stew,
Mm.
if you catch my drift.
She's never gonna believe that I'm actually out with friends.
She doesn't have to, because you could be dead by the end of tonight. So if you ever want to see her again, you might want to, take this a little more seriously.
Okay,
You
so
have to.
am I or am I not calling other member of book?
Okay. So
I think you should
I was
call.
just about to ask. you.
Call Steven, drive us around a couple blocks.
Yes,
all right,
ma'am.
all right.
So, who in book club are you calling, if I may ask?
I'm calling Estefania.
Hello? Who am I
Hey.
speaking to?
It's Cyran.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. Could be better. Could be, doing my thing. But I am not doing my thing. I'm doing someone else's thing, to my chagrin. I don't suppose you happen to know where I can find a Miss Yuan, would you?
Zhang Ziyang.
Yeah.
I thought that you left the Sabbat.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, I wish I was doing my own thing right now. I'm doing somebody else's thing right now.
Hmm. I think I might know where she may be. Think.
Okay, think is better than nothing. What have you got?
What have you got?
What have I got? All right.
Nothing is three.
Enough. Yeah, such is unlife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Since it seems to be something that we're asking a lot of people, what do you need? Or can I just owe you a boon?
You're giving off a lot just for this one little joy. Are you sure?
Look, I didn't say it was going to be a big boon.
I know, but if you are familiar with a bit of my culture, the first question I tend to ask upon greeting them is "Дай мне свой деньги, пожалуйста." You understand, no?
Yeah.
Either way, I'll humor you for now. She's at the
Okay.
Watergate Hotel.
Cool. All right.
Is that all you needed?
That's all I needed. Yeah, but I don't know. Stop in at the morgue sometime if you need something.
Very well. We shall compare notes another time. Be careful.
Sounds good.
She's not friendly to visit. Be careful. She's not friendly to visitors.
Oh yeah, careful is the name of the game. Have a good night.
Anyway, до свидания. See you soon.
Tell me you got something out of that call.
Oh yeah, we're going to Waterdeep.
The
Wonderful.
Watergate.
Stephen, Watergate Hotel, please.
Ma'am, before I go forward, we are going directly into Sabat territory. You are aware, correct?
Oh, I'm aware.
Specifically, we are going into Ventrue anti-tribute territory. You are also aware of that fact, correct?
I'm aware.
Very well. If you are aware, I shall drive you there.
There
See,
is
that
safety
just
in
keeps
numbers.
getting better.
There's
Mhm.
safety in numbers, Stephen. When we do arrive there, do not leave the vehicle.
Yeah, you might want to
Of
keep
course
the
not.
engine running.
Mm-hmm.
Noted.
So, just to be safe, since somebody brought up an obvious fact, safety in numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and I would turn specifically to Persephone and to Lyra. I'm Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't formally met. I know these other two charming individuals. It might benefit us in the 15-minute ride to get a little more acquainted and figure out a game plan so we can actually all walk out of this alive, and points to Lyra, and obviously somebody has homework. So
And a curve.
why don't we try to figure a little something of this out so it covers our ass?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught my name. It's Lyra. This is my dog Levi. He's probably my best defense at this point. I mean,
Charming pupper.
I've
For
been
sure.
dabbling with a few things to like see what the heck's going on with my body. And he seems to react pretty well to it.
I appreciate an experimental spirit in young kindred.
A
Well,
curious
I
mind
am
is always
studying to be a
useful.
biochemist too.
Oh, cool.
No, I can see you two can get along just fine.
I live in a morgue.
I'm
Hmm.
aware of this.
Well, I know Cyran. It's so lovely to see you dragged out here with the rest of us this evening.
Yeah, look, I really feel for those, like, the fairy offshoot of your clan, the ones that
Mhm.
just hole up in the libraries.
Sure.
Like I said, I'd rather be doing my own thing, but it
It's
is what it
okay.
is.
I understand. I don't really value them as much right now either. But Viola, I know you by reputation. You're the lawyer, right?
Lawyer to the kindred, at the very
Hmm.
least.
Sure.
Sometimes, among humans anyway, they refer to me as the bus. I think it's supposed to be an insult on my size or my shape, but I quite literally like to think it means that I get the job done and run over anyone on my way.
Oh yeah, I thought it was like bus, thrown under.
Yes.
No,
That's the
that
one,
would be
Cyran.
me. She likes to call me Speed Bump.
Mm-hmm.
Bus and speed bump.
We get
Quite the
along
duo,
great.
I'm sure.
I didn't catch your name. And he points at Persephone.
My
Same,
name is
likewise.
Persephone Fair, DC, political power broker. Known more along the mortal realm at the moment, but not very well liked amongst most of the clans currently.
Your reputation precedes you as well.
Ooh, you
I've heard as
fancy.
well.
Thank you. I put a lot of effort into making sure it does. So I appreciate that.
I knew it was a deeper cut when so-and-so, what's his face, called you a model. I'm just like, that's rude.
A little bit, but either way, I can always appreciate a compliment on my own vanity, so I'll take it. But I know Viola through most of the movement, but I tend to be my own individual agent, so.
No, likewise.
Mhm,
Sisters are doing it for themselves, after all.
it's true. But Ajax, what are you
Me?
doing here?
I could ask you the same thing, honey. However, apparently my services were requested as per Velvet. I don't know what she requires of a talent agent, but
Mm,
you know,
what kind of
I know
talent?
a couple people. What kind of talent?
Mhm.
You never heard of me?
The name sounds familiar, but not familiar with the work.
Sports, entertainment, music, the adult
Interesting.
industry.
Hmm.
I can hook you up.
Interesting. Is that where you met our previous friend?
Around. She has her uses,
Mm.
just not in the political, not in a scandal, not in anywhere that doesn't have a go-go cage and or handcuffs.
Party.
Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. We all have our gifts.
Sure.
As this conversation continues, you manage to ease up to the Watergate Hotel. The infamous hotel stands in its gargantuan architectural beauty. As you walk into the building, the first thing you notice is the immense amount of wealth present. The walls and spires lined with lights worth most than all of you combined. Every wall told a story of a long-aging political empire that has renewed and once again expired. Due to its legacy, the hotel was filled with almost entirely political types. Mostly well-to-do Ventrue tribute dressed down to the nines filtered through the building, but every once in a while a Lasombra or even an Assamite tribute found themselves proliferating within these walls. As you walk around, you could instantly see everyone's gaze honed in on you. Out of everyone else here, you were the factors that stood out. You were the ones that made no sense here. You simply weren't a factor in the equation, and as it stood, this wasn't a place of business. If this wasn't a place of business, they would be quick to remove you. My. And who would you kindred be? You see a woman with blonde hair pinned back in a regal updo, with a white gown that seemed to flow with her. She seemed almost ethereal in her presence, even though, as far as all of you could tell, she wasn't even using it. It was just the command that she had over those before her that made it quite aware who she was in the room. Again, give me a wits politics roll. I'll lower the difficulty to 2 if you were in the Camarilla. 4, 0, 3. Okay, 0. Who's
Focus.
1? Okay. So, with the exception of Viola and Persephone, you don't know who the fuck this bitch is. She just walked up to you, acting as if she owned the place. Who the hell is this uppity bitch? And why is she here of all places? That is exactly what's going on for your minds. However, Viola and Persephone, you both know exactly who this woman is. You know that this was a Ventrue tribute. You knew that while she acted so much like a Sabbat, this was one of Vitel's people. More specifically, she held the honorary title of being one of the prince's daughters. She was revered above all else. She was better than you in every single way. And if she wasn't her father could rectify that in any area that she lacked. She was his eyes and ears among the Sabbat. So finding her here perhaps wasn't so out of the question. I'm Lina Lambrecht. You must have heard of me, yes?
I may have heard your name.
Oh, indeed, I have.
I've heard of you all too. A bunch of upstarters from the movement. What are you trying to accomplish by coming here? Are you looking for a safe haven or a place where you're unwelcomed? This is Sabbat territory, in case you're unaware.
Oh, I fully remember the terms of our territorial agreements. We were just here to stop by and say hello to a visitor.
A visitor? Who would be asking for your acquaintance at this time of night from the likes of you? She had this sort of scowl on her face as her perfect, almost immaculate features crinkled as she looked among all of you, but she seemed to mostly be focusing in on Persephone and Viola as of this moment, almost as if the rest of you, yeah, you're there, but those two specifically.
Just glad it's not me.
Look, my associates and I are just here to see a friend.
A friend?
Mm-hmm.
I have many friends up in here. Who are they?
I'm gonna pronounce her name wrong. Shang-Chi. Does that sound familiar?
Shang-Chi. I heard that she ate kindred like you alive, though. I guess she must have ordered her dinner early.
I guess. I would love to go deliver it to her if you don't mind.
I thought you were the delivery. I didn't know Grubhub arrived here. I thought it was so pedestrian.
We're more
Well,
skip the dishes.
Once they're done dinner, she and I can compare notes about the Book of Nod, and we'll have a grand old time.
She gasped slightly as you suddenly peeked up, Cyran. Oh, you? My, I don't really think Zhao would really like you. She doesn't really do well with traitors, whether they be Tzimisce or Lasombra.
Well, look, the Gehenna Crusade is dumb, and I can't study if I'm dead.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I think traitor is a pretty hypocritical term.
Really?
In my personal opinion.
Isn't that what you guys are called?
Coming from a venture into Tribu, it's a little rich.
I mean, at least
Very
I'm true to my origins. I'm still with the winning team. You, on the other end.
If you want to believe it's winning, that's totally your own opinion. But again, in the interest of not wasting your time or our time, I was wondering if we could go stop our friend and have a little chat.
Oh, well, it's just so tragic to see one of your kind scrounging away all their potential. It's saddening. I heard Crana was a bit disappointed in you.
Oh,
that's none of my business, though.
Sure. Look, when is Crana ever not disappointed? She can live with it. I think it's time that we all head inside, don't you?
Very well. I mean, you, and she points over to the Tzimisce, you were a menace under Vukos. Why did you trim your claws, little kitty? I thought deserters weren't welcomed.
Like I said, if I want to drink elder blood, there's plenty of elders here in the city. I don't need to take a flight to the Middle East to do it.
Very well. At that, she seemed to lose interest and just wave her hand away, almost as if you were the service. But she knew that by doing this, she was purposely speaking aloud, drawing attention to herself and, by proxy, you. It was almost as if she were waiting to see if someone would take the bait and try to kill her. But to her chagrin, no one moved a muscle. It just seems like they were sniffing the air. However, perhaps the only one within these walls that seemed to resemble you was the well-to-do Ventrue ghoul that stood behind the counter, clacking away on his keyboard, before he turned to face you. Yes, hello, welcome to the Largate Hotel. How may I be of assistance to you?
Hi. My associates and I here are visiting a friend of ours, Xiaoxi, if we can at least give her a call, let her know that we're here to chat.
The man's eyes went wide as you mentioned that woman's name. He looked you all up and down, seemingly untrusting of your existence here, almost as if you were a minority within this nice, beautiful hotel, which you were. Yet, just like you, he was still on humanity. Well, most of you. He was still on humanity. I was somewhat easily fooled by that. Yeah, I don't know if she called for any visitors or mentioned them. I don't really know if she would be permissible right now.
I believe she'll see us.
What's
We
your name again,
insist.
ma'am?
And she hands her business card to him directly. Doesn't say a word.
He looks you up and down, looking between the card and you. If you can, give me charisma. Either give me persuasion or subterfuge. Difficulty, let's do 2. Let's do 2 for right now. Let's be nice.
Charisma, subterfuge, or which one? Sorry?
Persuasion.
Yeah, that one. Well, I just critted.
Oh.
Not a messy one. It was just a crit. So it was just 2 10s.
Okay. What are you going to say to this man as he's continuing to look you up and down?
Look, you want us gone out of this lobby? We can be gone out of this lobby. One way or another, we're out of this hotel, one way or the other. Whether it is eaten alive by one of your guests, which will be swept under the rug, because according to this place here, that's exactly how that goes down. Or we can leave now and leave a very, very bad review.
You know what? I'll make a call to her right away. He picks up the phone. Miss Young, there is a group of kindred here to see you. No, I don't believe they are your gift from Mr. Hughes. Yes, I'll keep an eye out for it and look out for them when they come. Yes, I'll send them up immediately. Would you like a cleaning service? Yes, I'll put that on hold, Miss Young. Have a good evening. He puts the phone back down. He smiles towards all of you and hands you the key to her room before going back to take another call. He has cleaned his hands of you. He doesn't really want to deal with you or what drama that comes along with you. He's trying to remain as out of it as possible.
We gotta weigh in.
That was much more diplomatic. I was just going to tell him I was going to turn his face into a Picasso.
No, you hit a hotel right where it hits them on Yelp. Now then, shall we?
Sure.
Lead the way.
So you guys make your way into the hotel. You can see that there are a few Ventrue answers for you coming and going and exiting, but they seem to mostly steer clear of you. It's almost as if the humanity on you disgusts them in some sense. It won't be a long ride, but for the sake of humor, you guys can chat for a little bit. What are the thoughts going through your heads right now that you're on this journey, this adventure, if you will?
All right, so who wants to take the over-under on whether or not she's going to kill us right when we open the door?
Honestly, I believe our strategy is going to have to be diplomacy with this woman. She is way too dangerous to try and mess with at this current time, especially in her own territory.
Yeah.
I wasn't too fond of the cleaning service comment either. I really don't feel like being peeled off a floor. Cyran.
Yeah.
Personally, I love your style. I think it fit perfect with big hairband shit. I could put you in 10 clubs easily, but you really haven't been out of your spot in a long time. So I think the intimidation factor needs to come down just a bit, just to make sure we actually walk out of here.
Oh yeah, look, I was in the Sabbat. I know when I shut the fuck up.
Again, not my realm. Just looking to walk out of this.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
like I said at the door, I can't study if I'm dead.
Bing! You hear the
Right.
elevator reach the floor. You all exit. You come face to face with long halls of doors, and you see this red-headed Ventrue glance over towards you and eye you up and down before leaving the very room you all were about to enter, seemingly intact, oddly enough, too. I'm assuming that you enter, and as you step in, you see a young woman with sallow yellow tinged skin, high cheekbones, pink lips, and this wavy short black hair cut into a crinkly bob that sat resting at her shoulders. The woman was lean and fit. Her figure was particularly slim, yet she was built rather athletically. The black embroidered kipao she wore seemed to hug her figure as she sat in a love seat with her legs crossed before her, delicately playing with what was now a long empty cocktail glass between her fingers. My, I wasn't expecting company tonight, especially ones as great as you. Tell me, why are you here?
Following up on a tip.
Viola is immediately going to throw up Daunt.
It wasn't me.
Lyra's gonna stand close to the door.
We're going to have fun right now. Okay, let's see. We're going to do a roll.
I mean, by all intents and purposes, the person doesn't feel when Daunt is up. It's when they just try and act as they don't.
Oh no.
act as
This
good,
is
don't they?
this is her trying to contain herself.
Ah,
You are, upon entering, I should also mention that unlike your bubbly Toreador anti-tribute that you met earlier, even though she made all these big, long, proclamations about her being her child and being the closest of friends, best friends, going to Romania together, they're related. Zhangji had a third eye on her head. Reina didn't. I just want to put that out there as I make
actually,
this.
as well, since I myself, in and out of character, may not be familiar with Golconda, might I do a roll for that, actually?
Yes. Go ahead and give me a occult intelligence roll.
Do- All right. 3 successes.
Okay, so you can tell, what you know is Golconda is essentially a form of kindred enlightenment. How some have preached it, it is akin to becoming human again, walking in the sun, feeling things again, feeling emotions again, actually being akin to human, but surpassing that. You're being beyond the beast at that point. Yet there is another type of Golconda that is very much different from the peace-loving flowers that you know of. It is basically this preaching of being an apex predator. It is essentially going far beyond your beast to become invincible, unstoppable even, to gain enlightenment. Now, you don't know specifically which version of Golconda she's on, but I'm sure you can make some conclusions. So, lucky for you.
I'm gonna sorry to make this happen. I'm going to actually retroactively not use Daunt in that case then.
Okay.
I'm going to
Okay.
retroactively do that.
Okay.
I just found the rule right there. I'm just like, no, we're not gonna do that. No, thank you. That'd be
Josh out
dumb.
real smooth.
That's how it's done, folks. Anyways.
What are you? Wait, someone else made an action. You don't want to do Daunt. Did anyone else want to do anything?
Lyra was going to stay by the door, I believe I heard.
Okay, that's a good plan.
It's a good plan.
It's a good plan.
Dog.
Good plan.
You have a lot of nerve coming here, Trader. You know you're not welcomed here. She says this almost looking past the Ventrue and the Toreador and even the Thinblood.
Yeah, Cyran takes a moment to point between himself and Persephone, like he's not sure which one is specifically being referenced.
I'm sure she's talking about me. And I'm honestly terribly sorry to interrupt your evening. And yes, I do possess a lot of courage to be here. However, my associates and I have been sent on some work for someone else, and you happen to be involved in this interesting story. And we just had a few questions for you, if you don't mind answering them.
Why would I answer to a bunch of humanity-driven pups?
Well, humanity is an interesting word to use, but because we believe your cousin might be causing you some problems. Is that not true?
I'm related to a lot of people. Some I care about, some don't. If they die, then they were just, the runts of the litter.
Sure. But I'm talking about a cousin that may be causing you some political problems.
In what
Has there
sense?
been any kind of incident in the last few weeks?
Which one?
Did one of your cousins possibly lose control or make some choice mistakes?
Sure. A lot of them do so. I mean, you can't be the sword of Cain and allow a wound to fester. She says that and then turns her gaze over towards Cyran. You were brave enough in staving off death, but now you can't even do that, let alone your wound. You've been neutered.
As I said to somebody else who made a similar point on the way in, if I wanted to drink elder blood, I can drink elder blood in the city, and I don't have to go on the Gehenna Crusade for it.
You have replaced your freedom for chains. Okay.
Look, I miss Valdery as much as the next Revenant. But there are certain things I can't do if I'm dead, like study, learn, study death, funny enough. Theoretically, I'm going to achieve full knowledge of it when I actually do final die, but I would prefer...
I can make that happen right now.
Yeah, but I got so much more to fill in before then.
Really?
That's the hope, anyway.
And what about the rest of you? You're saying nothing. You're also quiet for one of your kind, and you're trying to escape this room as quickly as possible.
I'm not running anywhere, and I'm just trying to show you respect.
I think she means our
I might be a fool for speaking up here, but yeah, we were told to find out who's been missing and who's been killing, and I hear there's a masquerade to uphold, so
don't talk
any
about the
information
masquerade
you
here.
can give that will help us.
Don't talk to the Sword of Cain about the masquerade. They really hate that.
Masquerade. That's a really funny term. And I'm sure you're aware of it, aren't you? Yeah, I see the look. You're playing with a bunch of puppies now. The masquerade has...
Lyra says masquerade. I'm going to throw up awe to take the attention off of her.
As soon as that you do that, she seems vaguely aware with her heightened senses and with her sense on seeing. She is vaguely aware of what's happening, but still she can't necessarily fight against it.
So, again, we're not here to ruffle any feathers. I don't even want to interrupt your drink. We just wanted to get some information.
You could be my next.
Or we could split one.
I don't like sharing. That's only reserved for my pact, as you know. Some people would know.
Well, it didn't have to be that kind of drink. I've been told I'm an entertaining individual.
Roses are a bit too prissy for my taste. You all taste like women drinks.
I might be a little different. I've been called 300 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. Did you catch my drift?
The last time I felt anything down there was in the 1800s. Please keep on going.
Maybe you haven't been satisfied the right way.
Why am I even humoring this conversation with you? These are the people you associate with now.
Color just went to Lyra's cheeks.
Yeah. But regardless of all that, trying to be friendly. So we're just looking for a piece of information. And in return, we can try to hook you up with something. So we don't have to interrupt your drink, or we don't have to interrupt any other business you have this evening.
Or by all means, you assist us, and we're more than happy to leave as soon as you possibly can. I mean, all this threatening of violence and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Isn't that above? Aren't we above our beasts at this point? Don't we all follow a certain particular code or moral honor?
The Salubri always have. Yet you, Ventrue, haven't.
I'm more than willing to follow yours to make you more comfortable. I'm flexible in that sense.
Just as all bootlickers. Very well. Let's play a game. What do you want to know?
The individual that was terminated. Do you have any information about that?
Which one?
From your cousin.
Give me a name for this cousin. I have quite a bit of family in town.
I think you're pretty familiar with the individual I'm speaking of. Maroon hair, likes to dance around in cages.
Oh, that one. Yeah, no. When I found her, she was begging for the embrace from me, but I had a few Toreador that, I felt were her lane. She's a useful idiot.
Apparently, the individual that was killed had some importance. We're attempting to figure out if it was on purpose, if it was on accident, if some other diabolical means came into perception of a wrong individual. Look, it's just an assignment we got sent on. Just looking to catch a little info. Afterwards, I could even hook you up with some stuff. I got connections all over town.
Or we're out of your hair.
Yeah.
Or I call downstairs and I get the cleanup crew. However,
you could. Could. It would be a hell of a waste.
Such a hassle, really.
I'll put it like this. Anyone who I kill intentionally.
Okay.
There's no mistake about it. So, what sect are you guys? Camarilla hasn't been here for a while, so I'm trying to figure that out.
I like to be my own supervisor.
Antarctica, no one cares.
Oh no. Anarch.
Okay.
But I don't have to be tied to a tower.
So I'm assuming you're all anarchs then. Very well. I killed Vitel's boy. He owed me a few things, a bit annoying, a bit weaselly. However, he tasted delectable in the end, and I realized that by the end of it, his ashes would have gone to waste if I left them, within your territory. So I just went ahead and sent them to Vitel's Elysium. That seemed to be a good use of, his remains.
So it was intentional, but you didn't really have any purpose behind it besides popping him like a Capri Sun.
That would be a nice way to put it. Speaking
Okay.
of which, in this hotel, they still wiretap all these rooms. They say it's for security reasons, but
Wow.
it's almost like you can see them. Do you ever wonder who the footage is going to?
No.
No. A bit uncreative of you, but I've come to expect that from Toreador. You guys aren't really that amusing after the first few tries. What about any of you? What do you think? Who do you think it's going to? I'll give you a hint. It's not going to the Sabbat.
If you're implying that any of this information is going to somebody outside of your sect, why would you tell us that?
The city is a shithole. You might
Of which
be.
we all agree.
You might be a fucking turncoat, but I know you see it. Can't you see the wind changing? Can't you feel it? Or better yet, did you feel the difference when Vittel came back into town on the backs of all those Bruja up from fucking Boston? Didn't you feel the difference?
Yes, and I'm not saying I necessarily disagree. However, I'm still curious why you've decided to trust us with this bit of information.
As you get older, the blood of pigs no longer satisfies you. You can only properly feed and fuel your own and fuel your willingness to stay alive by the taste of your own. However, Vittel is corrupting this city. If you've been to New York, there's a similar corruption there.
Okay.
Roll me, all of you who want to know, roll me a charisma insight check. And actually, no, I won't do difficulty. Let's see what happens here.
Charisma insight.
Yes.
Get a -1 because I'm ugly.
Oh no.
Ooh.
4
2,
successes.
4, 1.
One, because I am also a victim of my own work.
Damn. Okay. So for those of you under 4, you can kind of make out that she's trying to tell you some truth to power right now. She doesn't see you as a threat, and she doesn't even necessarily see you as something to fight with at that. She is more so testing the waters with you guys. However, those of you with 4 and up, you've heard some elders mention this to you before. They've told you that as you get older and as your generation lowers and lowers, human blood just doesn't sate you anymore. Hell, animal blood does nothing. You don't know Xiaoji, but you know her to be a murderer, a diableress, a cannibal. But with all that said, unlike her cousin, she has always held herself together. How she has held herself so stiffly yet formally made it clear that this was bothering her. You, if anyone, know better than anyone else in the room. She held herself so tightly by default. She couldn't be vulnerable, but that was the sentiment for the weak, after all. Vitae is the only thing that can sustain a canine like me. Every so often I can feel the pull of my ancestors, calling my blood back to the Middle East. At times, I can even feel the pulse of my sire again. Our blood weakens. I'm going to be pulled back, and it's going to happen soon. However, I killed that boy, I told him if he didn't pay off his debts, I'd kill him and send his ashes to their Elysium. You know I did. However, you know as well as I do what happens to his cult of freaks. He has no love for them. They are pups to him, no more than skin and bone. They are expendable, even his daughters. Open your eyes if you can. Tap the walls. They're sending it to someone. It's not going to Vukos. That can't be the Nosferatu. They've been gone from this city for a while now. But you always have to wonder who, now don't you?
Well, we really appreciate your time and the information that you've given us. If there's something we can do for you, don't hesitate to inquire.
I've left my card at the front desk.
The city is going to burn soon.
Alex will pull out his card and hand it right to her. I am a man of my word.
She looks at the card, smiles a bit idly at it. You'll learn to either love or regret this.
You
city
did
is going
give
to
us a
burn.
piece of information, so I feel it's an equal exchange.
Mhm.
Call it Heiner Boone.
You know, typically I would have no real use for that. I find it rather trite, Camarilla-like, really. However, we'll see what happens in the coming nights.
You never know.
With that
Well,
being said-
It was nice to meet you. I'm gonna let my dog out for a little pee break. She just leaves.
you always
Oh,
wonder.
you made the neonate nervous.
You always wonder how those Thinbloods have gotten so upstart so quickly. Wouldn't you?
An excellent question, for sure.
Mm.
Well, if you would like to get back to your evening, I don't want to continue to ruin it further with my presence. And I'm
Yes,
sure
get
my
out.
colleagues agree.
Get out.
Thank you.
Wasn't even.
As you
The
leave,
Lit book club.
close the door behind yourselves, I'm assuming. And
Mhm.
you're out of earshot now. You walk out. You are relatively left on your own. At least, you know, it seems like no one's going to catch you right now. No one's going to hurt or attack you. It seems like, given the fact that you went into Zhaoji's room, came back out, and survived, it kind of was like a pat on the back in and of itself.
Lyra's just in the hallway. She's like, holy geez, guys. My heart was pumping. Million
It would
miles.
turn
per
off
hour.
all. Do we need to keep a leash on you? As he looks over at Lyra.
Oh, well, she told you all to get out.
Yeah,
You know, it's
but
just,
we're also not trying to get you killed or any of us killed.
Yeah.
Your mother would kill us.
I just felt like I needed to leave.
I understand you got pulled into this
Mm.
like the rest of us, and it might not seem at this very moment that you have any purpose, but for some strange reason, the Velvet thinks otherwise. So, since we are a coterie, and I understand this is a standard amongst the different sect,
Let's not call it a coterie yet. I mean, right? That's a little official, don't you think?
we don't really have a
Well,
choice at this point.
we're officially in the middle of this situation now.
Yeah,
So,
try to stick close to us.
yeah.
I'm not looking to carry a spatula and have to peel anybody off a sidewalk anytime soon. That's not my style.
Don't worry about me. I'll be okay.
We don't have a choice. We have to worry about you because if you fuck up, it can come back on us.
Or whoever we're hired to work for.
Yeah.
She'll just kind of hang her head
Definitely.
and stay silent then.
I'm really not looking to shit all over you, kid, but just stick close to us. Ask questions if you need to, but in situations like that where we turn into Uber Eats, it's good to know.
Especially if
Again, I
we-
feel more of a skip the dishes kind of a gal. There's a little bit more class to it. I don't know. Uber Eats, really?
Well, it's
if
not like we
that were-
suggested the nickname.
Sorry.
Hmm.
If that were to
It's okay.
happen, I don't know if I would be the one to make or break the fight.
No,
Just
but just stick around. Ask questions. It's okay.
Listen, you have a curious mind, and curious minds can lead to great possibilities and opportunity. Just make sure you keep it open, but stay around us so you don't lose it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. In the interest of not losing our heads, I would compliment the rest of you on how we survived that entire encounter, but now we're left with a bigger problem. Clearly, something is about to happen in this city, and I'm pretty sure that little kickstart, that little murder there that we just solved, is probably going to be the flame that fuels the fire here. What are we going to tell What are we going to tell Velvet?
Well, I'm just going off of my time spending around our lovely attorney here, but I think before we go back, we should formulate a renegotiation. Since again, they tossed together the ship 5 as opposed to Ocean's 11, we were obviously sent out as scapegoats.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she felt that we were actually going to come back with any info. Or if we actually were going to physically come back at all.
Yeah,
I
speaking
think-
of, when we peel out of here, we might want to take the long way back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not just because of the locals, but if who I believe the implication was implied to be the one wiretapping the place is wiretapping the place, we probably don't want to get his people on us either.
I think the lovely Lasombra here made a very good point, however, in why would she incriminate herself also if she didn't have a slight idea? So as much as this place might be wiretapped, I'm still 50-50 on them. But you do bring up a very good point. We should probably continue this conversation in a vehicle en route someplace else out of this, although stylish, pretty dangerous fucking hotel.
Yeah,
Out of this historically scandalous place.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
I
That
feel like
sounds good
taking
to
the
me.
stairs. How about you all?
I mean,
I don't get tired.
probably less cameras in a staircase.
And also
True.
no threat of us being snipped or clipped or anything like that.
All right, stairs it is. I had to dry clean my suit anyway.
I wonder
With
if I
that
could go
being
through the
said-
wall if I need to.
With the exception of our poor Lasombra right here, you all can use phones. So with that being said, please roll me 5 dice. Tell me how many successes you get.
5
Minus
dice.
2.
One of them should be
Because I'm technologically challenged. It's okay. That's what I have assistant for.
We'll see the assistant soon.
Or
I gave her
success.
the night off.
Lyra, you get a phone call.
Hello?
As you pick up your phone, you hear this gravely voice go in and out constantly. Yet, as you keep on walking down the stairs, it suddenly becomes almost clear. He's here. He's waiting for you. He knows who you are. The overseer is not only Monticello.
I'll put
And
it on
that-
speaker.
The line goes dead.
Can I make a technology roll to like see who called?
Sure. Technology, wits, or intelligence?
Oh, I got this. Lyra's time to shine. It's gonna fail.
No.
5 successes.
With that, you can tell that this is clearly a burner phone. It has Cricket Mobile written all over it, obviously. However, with that being said, no offense to the Chris. With that being said, you can tell it's coming from underneath you. Not like a different floor of the hotel underneath you, but it's in DC somewhere, yet underneath you. It's somewhere in the sewers at that. Yet there's no caller ID, no nothing. You just have a vague location on where it is.
Oh, guys, I have a feeling that whoever just called me is calling from underground. Did you catch what he said?
No, I assumed it was from your mother.
Nah, I think whoever it was hung up as soon as you put him on speaker.
Hmm.
So
I
is
would
it
say that you
Harrison?
caught the tail end of that. I would say you caught the tail end of that
Okay.
conversation.
Lyra, what exactly was it that you heard?
That he's here. Sorry, what all was it again? I got short-term memory.
He's here. He's waiting for you. He knows who you are. The overseer is not only in Monticello.
Okay, I'll just relay that to the group. I'm not sure who he is. I mean, I don't have a lot of men in my life.
It's okay, you're not missing out.
You're really not.
Don't waste your time.
Men have their necessities as well.
The overseer?
I don't know if I'm highly offended or not.
Oh, Ajax, you know why I keep you around.
Hmm.
Shining personality, I'm sure.
I
Absolutely.
never even had a boyfriend when I was living. But anyways, back to the point.
Yeah, okay, so they're calling from underground and they sound like they've been smoking 20 packs a day for the last 10 years.
Yeah. He might be someone like me. I don't know.
Oh, smart money, that's a Nosferatu.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still learning all the things.
Yeah, that's okay. Look,
All in due time.
they tend to stay out of people's sight because a lot of them kind of have what you have going on, but like significantly worse.
Oh, so much worse.
I mean,
Honestly,
I kind of
a
looked
nightmare.
like this when I was living.
Yeah,
Everyone knew me as the sick kid. So
yeah, some of them. All right, look,
Kids can be cruel.
I need you to level with me. How many vampire movies did you watch after you got turned to try to figure shit out?
I mean, True Blood was a guilty pleasure.
Oh my god.
Okay, but
Pleasure
have
you
you
should be
seen-
guilty of, for sure.
Have you seen the old shit? Have you seen Nosferatu?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay, so you know Count Orlok?
Okay.
Yeah, the pretty Nosferatu look like him.
Oh,
That's their pretty.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That is their top end.
How did you know that the phone call came from underground? I'm just
Well,
curious.
I just looked into my phone and did a little background on the call, and the location seemed just to be
not anywhere above ground. And just the way he sounded, it sounded echoey and everything. So
Well, maybe we finally figured out why you're here.
Mm-hmm.
well,
I agree.
I'm not stupid.
I never
No.
said you were, kid.
No, none of us.
Not-
did
You
that.
obviously have a
Probably
flair for
the one
tech.
thing I can bring to this.
Ignorance and
Besides Levi
stupidity are
here.
two very different things, and you will learn with time. But make clear that your intelligence will be useful to us moving forward. But I say we get a move on before we're in here too long, and
Yeah, let's hoof it.
discuss what to do next.
Exactly. Stephen awaits after all.
Mm.
Oh,
As
Steven with a PH.
as you
Brave soul. He
all
gets a big
leave
bonus.
the hotel and as you ponder over the deadline, we end out for the night with more questions than answers. The kindred here have found their first perpetrator, yet they didn't really get anything from them other than a reason to why they did the murders, but not a reason for why more murders will potentially happen. And that is where we end our story for the night. I would like to thank this beautiful cast of people here. Lovely, beautiful. Please say who you are before we leave.
My name is Olivia, and I'm Persephone Fair. And I'm a college student in Washington, D.C., and this is actually my first game. So, having a lot of fun.
Doing wonderful.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Walsh. You can find me several spots now along this lovely channel Sunday evenings at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You can also find me eventually when we come back on Vancouver by Night for Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition, Toronto by Day Tales from the Rookery, where I play a pretty security-driven troll who likes to swing things. You can also catch me on Lanya Gaming Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern for not one but two Vampire the Masquerade Chronicles. One currently in New Orleans, where I play a Thinblood also named Ford. A couple of other things, but I don't want to take up anybody else's time.
It's all right. There's not a lot to take up for me. Hi, I'm Joe. I guess have a Twitter. I'm playing Cyran Obertus, and I'm having a lovely time.
Doing great. I love their character.
Easy, kiddo.
Well, my name's Haley, also known as Beyblade666 on the internet. And I don't usually play a character like this, but it's very fun and I enjoy it. Yeah, I've been playing Lyra, Ellis, the Thinblood. That's way out of her league in this whole thing. But yeah, you can catch me playing Changeling the Dreaming also with on Vancouver by Night's channel there. So that'd be exciting when it finally starts and stuff.
And
That's it
I'm
for me.
Rose, and Rose Bulbasaur on Twitter, Instagram, as well as TikTok. You can find all of my socials and sort of in the one spot. I self-promote and cross-promote everything I try to. Upcoming things, I have a one-shot coming up on Lanyard Games. Keep an eye out on my channel for that. I am also creative partner with Martley Games. I'm very excited to announce that we're going to be doing our Halloween month of spooks of Darthtober, as we call it. That's going to be run by one of our guys. And yeah, keep an eye on my socials for all that information.
And I want to say thank you to all of them. They are great, and we will likely be here for a while. No episode next week since we are doing this every other week. But also, I would like to say thank you for watching, and thank you for everyone who helped me with this. Thank you for everyone. Literally, I am dumb when it comes to Twitch. Thank you. You guys are amazing, and we love you. Even if you don't see them on screen, they are helping, and they're great. Say hi.
Oh yeah.
So that being said, that will be the end of our vampire story tonight. Stay
Yay.
tuned, please.
Thanks, everyone.